We back again. Welcome to the dojo. Sensei greets you. Come on in, come on in. Glad to have you. Glad you can make it. The topic of discussion for today. For today. Don't take it for granted. Don't take it for granted. That thing that you like that you don't really tell people you love having this thing. That relationship, that job, your children, the love that they have for you, all these things that you actually appreciate, but you may not say it outright. Don't take it for granted. Why? Why am I saying that? Because you should. You've probably heard this phrase before. Don't take it for granted. What does don't take it for granted even mean, Hawk Sensei? Glad you asked. I'll tell you. Don't take it for granted simply means don't act as if you can't lose it. Don't act as if it can't be taken away from you. Don't act as if that person can decide they don't want to hang out with you anymore, or those group of friends. Don't think that you can't be terminated from your place of employment. Don't take it for granted. Don't think just because you woke up yesterday, you'll wake up again tomorrow. Don't take it for granted. So why am I saying this? Why am I telling you not to take it for granted? Because if you actually understand the concept and you do it, you'll be better off. How will you be better off? Because you will not be stressing or worrying about things that you cannot control. You cannot control what will happen in the world. You cannot control how someone will react to you or things that you do or may say. You can't control any of that. Right? You have almost no power, no influence over what happens in your life or what happens to you. You can mitigate such experiences by being cautious or being mindful or being aware of what could possibly go wrong. But we shouldn't live in fear. We shouldn't be worrying and be in an anxious state all the time. You can't get anything done. Not anything worthwhile. Right? It seems like taking things for granted is the easiest way to lose them. It's almost as if the universe wants to teach you a lesson. Why it's unhealthy or why it's not good to take things for granted. You remember in high school, you had a high school sweetheart. Do you still talk to that person? If you do, then consider yourself lucky, because most of us don't keep in contact with who we were dating or seeing in high school. I'm certain of it. I'm certain of it. Hardly anybody knows what a relationship really is nowadays. Why? Because we're in the age of self. It's all about self and self-preservation. I mean, but can you blame people for being like that? We in a dog-eat-dog world. Almost no one has your best interests at heart. Why would they? They got too many things to worry about. Because we understand this going out into the world, we don't take for granted, right? We all do this. We don't take for granted what we know. You know bad things can happen to you if you draw negative attention to yourself. When you produce ill will, you may have people wanting to harm you or remove you from a situation, whatever that means. When you know that any day could be your last, regardless of what that means, that could be on your job, in the world, in a relationship, whatever. When you understand that, and when you know that all good things come to an end, it was fun while it lasted, you detach yourself from the pain that you would feel for losing it because you took it for granted. So when you don't take things for granted, you're able to say, you know, I didn't think I would have it forever. It was fun while it lasted. They even say it's not yours, it's just your turn. What does that really mean? We don't possess nothing. We don't possess people. Anybody who's in our life is because they choose to be there. Anybody that's outside of our immediate family, that is. They choose to be there. Don't take these people for granted. If you have people in your life that actually care about you, appreciate you, and acknowledge your existence in one way, shape, or form, whatever that may be, appreciate those people. Because those people are rare. Most people don't give a rat's ass. Most people don't care enough to give you your flowers. But if someone does happen to acknowledge you and give you your flowers, your due respect, return the honor. Acknowledge it in appreciation. Show gratitude. Be thankful. You may not even know what some of these things is or what these terms mean. Google is there for you. Google is there for you. Right? But moving on, taking it a little further. Why you don't want to take things for granted? Because you might tell somebody something that you took for granted, and it end up coming out to not be true. Now you'll look like a liar. You look like you're trying to manipulate people when in all actuality, you thought it was going to happen. You thought y'all had it in the bag. You thought the plan was foolproof, or you thought it was going to work out in you. You know what I mean? You took it for granted. You know what I mean? Taking things for granted. You know what I mean? It's almost like a arrogant expression. Oh, I got it. I ain't got to worry about that. She gonna always be here. They can't fire me. Like, when you start saying stuff like that, that's when the bad things happen. That's when it goes wrong. Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. It's only a matter of time. Just give it enough time. And you'll see what I'm saying. Alright? So, just take a quick look over your life. In your mental inventory, all the things that you have. Whether you earned them, they were gifted to you, given to you. You know what I mean? You bought it, whatever. Just look at all the things that you have or have access to and appreciate it. Because there are plenty of people who don't have it. That's what you call not taking it for granted. Not taking it for granted means that you show appreciation. Not taking it for granted means you give it its due respect. You treat it with respect. When you respect your life, you don't take it for granted. Because we all know that we're here for only a finite time. We're not going to be here forever. Right? Also knowing that, we know that we shouldn't take our time for granted. Because we only have but so much. Our time is not infinite. With the way some people live, you may think that they don't believe that. But that's another story. Right? When we abuse our significant others, we're not thinking they can just leave us at any moment. They're bound to us. They have an attachment to us. They need us. No. People are not property. though the world may lead you to believe otherwise. From person to person, people are not property. Person to person, meaning I don't own you, you don't own me. If I tell you to do something and you don't do it, I'm not going to get upset because why? I'm not your master. I'm not your father. I ain't your teacher. Well, I can be your teacher, but that's only if you want me to teach you. Right? That's how it goes. Taking things for granted is the best way to lose something. Take it for granted. Show that arrogance. Oh, I'm always have this. I got it in the bag. I can't lose. Taking it for granted. Okay. You're going to feel real silly when you lose it. When you fall short. When she leaves you. When he leaves you. When they turn their back on you. When you find yourself being outcast. You find yourself alone. You ain't gonna realize what I'm saying. Shouldn't have took it for granted. Shouldn't have thought you was gonna get away with it. Shouldn't have thought it wasn't gonna happen to you. Taking things for granted is just... It's like you spit in the face of the Creator. He's the only one who knows what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen from today to tomorrow. You may be able to predict, but you don't know. 100% certain. Oh, it's going to rain tomorrow. It might not. I mean, oh, I looked at the news. It said it was going to rain. 70%. Don't take it for granted. Don't act as if it's going to rain tomorrow. There's a possibility that it won't rain. That's what I'm talking about. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't think about how you're going to celebrate the touchdown before you catch the ball. Don't take things for granted. It's the easiest way to find yourself in a state of ruin. You know what I mean? Don't take nothing for granted. Not even your own well-being. You could get sick tomorrow. You telling people, oh, I'm going to make it. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. Bright and early. You get sick. Now you can't make it. Now your body's up. And don't take it for granted. I'm going to make it, Lord willing. If everything goes right, I'll be there. That's another thing. You know what I mean? You can take things for granted and try to guarantee people something that ain't guaranteed. And cause problems for you. You know what I mean? So, in summary, long story short, don't take things for granted because it can cause problems indirectly. The arrogance that you exhibit when you take things for granted is a turnoff. People may not want to associate with you. Oh, you think you good. You think you don't need nobody, or you think you know it all. Don't take it for granted. You think you've been with the company 20 years and you one of the best workers they got. Don't take it for granted. Don't take it for granted. Don't do it. You've been in this relationship 15 years. She would never cheat on me. He would never cheat on me. I'm not trying to give you no ideas. Don't take it for granted. When you don't take it for granted, you won't be surprised if it happens. You'll be like, it hurts, it sucks, but the world that we live in today, I'm not surprised. Don't take nothing for granted. Don't even take yourself for granted. Oh, I'm going to be good. You don't know how good you gonna be. You don't. We don't know these things. We need to stop acting like we know things that we don't. We don't know the end from the beginning. We don't even know if we're gonna wake up tomorrow. We don't know. So, because we don't know, move accordingly. Remember that this is an experience. This life that we live in, this is an experience that you only get to have one time. Understand the value in this experience that we are living in right now at this very moment. Don't take this for granted. Learn how to savor things. Learn how to appreciate things. Learn how to extend the enjoyment. If you can be in the moment, in the present, when you need to be. And you can also be in the cut, in the sanctuary, in the house, in the dojo, recuperating, rejuvenating, resting. You know, going back to the lab again, going back to the drawing board. Why? Because you don't take things for granted. You have a plan, you set out to make that plan, but you also got plan B and C. Now they say you don't need to have plan B and C because it takes away from plan A, but let's be real here. Nothing's guaranteed, so why not have a plan B and C? Nothing's guaranteed except for the fact that one day we're not going to be here. It's the only thing that is guaranteed. Bet your last dollar we all have that day. But it's not on us to worry about that day. We're just here to have this experience called life. From a human standpoint, don't take this experience for granted. Stop worrying about having all the things you think you need. If all your needs are met, be thankful. I'm not saying it's wrong to want more, but we got to learn how to be content. We got to learn how to be thankful. That being said, Professor Hawk signing out. Hawk Sensei bids you adieu. Hope you waking up every day with a plan and a purpose. But if you don't have a plan or a purpose when you're waking up, at least you're still waking up. Alright, y'all. So go ahead and do me a favor. Leave a like on the video because you made it this far. I know you like it. Share it because why not? Somebody else would love to see this, I'm sure. And subscribe because you came back too many times not to push that button. Till next time, guys. So should I say, till tomorrow.